Welcome to the Don't Let the Smile Fool You podcast, where we're going to be talking about everything that is hiding behind that smile as we climb the leadership ladder. Let's go. Hi, Anit, Miss CEO of the day.
Hi, Uche.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Okay, so I hear you have a question for me.
Yes, I have a question for you, and it is really interesting questions.
Okay.
And first of all, I will ask you the first question, and you have just to answer by yes or no.
Okay.
Did you ever felt that you are too small for the position that you have? That you don't have you are not enough to
Not good enough,
yes
right?
to handle this
Oh my
position.
goodness.
Okay, so I can ask my question.
Yeah.
It's how a leader can manage self-doubt and imposter syndrome on their professional journey.
Okay, so I have to tell you a story.
Okay, let's go.
So I had just been promoted as chief marketing officer in this company. My boss, imagine this, right? My boss is announcing this in the executive meeting. And there I was, head down, ashamed, embarrassed. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
A day where I should have been like jumping for joy and celebrating. And by the way, I had wanted to be a chief marketing officer. So it's not as if, I hadn't suddenly realized my dream. But I was like this, head down. Let me give you the context, because this is a story of self-doubt. And also, not just self-doubt, doubt that others can create for you. Okay?
Yes.
So I had been working as a head of brand and strategy, and we got a new CEO. And I, was working with him for a while, and he gives me a call one day, and he says to me, I'm thinking about promoting you. So I want to know how you would manage the role of CMO. What would your structure look like? How would you do it? I want you to share that with me. Now, let me tell you something. I think he told me this end of November. And normally by now I'm planning my Christmas break. I canceled my Christmas break immediately. And I got to work, put together structures, talking about all the things that I would do and put in place. But of course, with most organizations, there is no secret. There are no secrets in most organizations. And so I had a colleague, and he said to me one day, so I hear that there's going to be a chief marketing officer. And I said, oh, I'm not aware. I just kind of pretended like I didn't know anything about it. He says, well, I think everybody should play to their strengths. Okay, what does that mean? Initially, I didn't know how to respond to that. I was just like, what do you mean by that, And he's like, well, you're a brand person. You're not a numbers person. So everyone should play to their strengths. And basically, to my face, telling me, you should not even be considered for this role. And I remember walking away from that conversation. I said to him, like, I'm not even sure why you're having this, why are you having this conversation with me? I don't even know about the CMO thing. But I went home and I started questioning myself. Am I not a commercial person? Am I not a numbers person? Why is the CEO even considering me for this role? I went through that for about a day. And I was really in my head. Really in my head. But anyway, I decided to continue with the work, right? So I submit my structure, I present how I would manage the role, whatever. And then my boss says to me, I really think you'll be the best person for the job, but there's some doubts. People think you're very high maintenance, you're a bit of a diva, and that if you get this role, you'll be uncontrollable. So, first, I'm not a commercial person. 2, I'm too high maintenance. And 3, somehow I'm going to become this uncontrollable person if they give me this job. And I said to him, well, I don't know how to respond to that. He said, no, it's fine. I really have a lot of faith in you. So you get the role. And so now you can imagine it's being announced in the executive team. And in this process, I've been told I'm not commercial. In this process, I've been told I'm too high maintenance and I'm going to be uncontrollable. And so a part of me was not confident that I should have been in that role. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So on that day, in that meeting, I was like this, head down, and people were like, and I was just like,
Not confident at all.
not confident at all. But it gets worse. So I start the job, and I never forget. I was announced in February, okay? And up until now, the numbers have been fine. So February, numbers fine. March, numbers okay. April, numbers down. May.
How many scary.
And oh my goodness, of course it's true. I'm not commercial, right?
Yes.
This is what's going on in my head. I'm not commercial. And I started to shrink myself in meetings. And I'm not, I have a big personality. But in the meetings, I started to just be like, I hope nobody asks me any questions. Oh my goodness. So I went to India with my boss. We went for a business meeting. And I'm never going to forget this boss because he has been one of the people that's had the most impact on me as a leader.
Okay.
So we go to India. All I'm thinking about the whole trip is I'm going to be fired. I'm going to be fired. The numbers are bad. It sounds ridiculous now. I've only been in the job for 2 months. Okay, but the numbers are bad. I'm not commercial. I have to behave myself so no one thinks I'm a diva. Oh my goodness. So we go to India and I'm quiet. Like, normally I'd be asking questions. I'd be, I'm saying nothing. I'm in these meetings. I'm just like, yeah. And my boss, we were walking, I won't forget this. We were walking in the office, our sister operation, walking in the office, and he says, come here. He pulls me into a side office. He said, what are you doing? And I said, what do you mean? He said, I didn't hire you for this. What's going on with you? And I said, well, the numbers. He said, what are you talking about? You think I'm going to fire you after 2 months? I know you can fix it. Just go and fix it. What are you doing? Why are you walking around here with all of this doubt, He said, I hired you for a reason. You were chosen. So we get back from India and I'm back to myself. Like, I get back to work and I say to my team, this ends today. Crisis meeting, this meeting, that meeting, this meeting. And it was hot. It was hot for my team. It was hot for me. I have people who still talk about this period, even though it was 10 years ago. But that intervention from him, because I was really beginning to fall into this self-doubt, that intervention from him and me waking up, because, I also had to accept that actually you know what you're doing, led to 3 years of growth for our business, quarter after quarter of growth. Not just growth on the revenue side, brand, NPS, employee engagement. Like, the marketing team was fire, as you guys like to say. And we went from being the number 4 operator to number 2. Now, obviously, it wasn't just marketing, but we played our role. And why am I telling this story? Because people are going to say things to you to create doubt. You're going to have your own voices in your head that will create doubt as well. But nothing overcomes doubt better than preparation. Preparation. I also believe people have to keep learning, right? So you have to keep learning. You need to be very curious about your industry, about your function, about other parts of the business. That gives you a confidence. You know what I mean?
Yes.
you have to also be able to sift through people who are telling you things positively and people who are telling you things negatively, right? Because there's feedback is constructive, but then there's some feedback that is meant to harm you, right?
Yes.
And as you grow, you have to be able to tell the difference between someone who is giving you constructive feedback and someone who's just trying to mess
To
around
put on
with your
the
head.
self-doubt.
Right. So the guy who was saying to me, we need to play to our strengths, was basically trying to throw me off, right?
Yes.
He probably knew I was going to get the job. He wanted to make me feel bad. He wanted to make me feel I didn't deserve the job.
That you're not enough.
That wasn't enough. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And honestly, for a minute, it worked.
Yeah.
For a minute, it worked. So what I say to people is you have to be able to decipher who's giving you constructive feedback. And constructive feedback would be not harmful, right? It will be in a manner, if someone's being constructive with you,
Yes.
they will give you feedback in a manner that allows you to make changes or to improve, right? They're not just going to throw something in your face and be like, yeah, you're terrible. Nobody does that
Yes,
unless they're
understand.
trying to come home, okay? And on the point of self-doubt, because there's doubt people create for you, but there's also self-doubt. This is normal, right? Especially when you're younger, you're saying, can I do that?
Yes.
So imagine it's like the first time you learn to ride a bike, right? So the first time, maybe you're 5 or 6 years old, you're on the bike, you're like scared you're gonna fall,
Yes, yes.
but the more you do it, right? The more
Yes,
you
more
do
you
it,
be
the more
strong.
confident
Yes,
you get.
yes.
Then you don't need your mom to hold you or whatever, your dad to hold you. You're like, leave me alone, I can do it myself, right?
Yes.
That's how I see self-doubt. Like you have to train it.
Okay.
You have to train it, and the way you train it, you have to train it to sort of come down. If you're a person with no doubt, then I'm also concerned because you also can't be overconfident. You have to be paranoid in a healthy way, okay?
Yes.
But the self-doubt can be trained, and it's trained by you practicing, by learning, by building your confidence through wins and achievements. Okay?
Yes.
Every little win, you have to recognize it. Nothing is a small win. A win is a win.
Okay.
And you have to use that to say, I've done something great here.
And I have to celebrate.
You have to celebrate it. You have to celebrate it. And I'm a big believer in writing down things as well. Because when you write, it manifests. So when you have a win, it's not, oh, I did something great. You write it down. How did it make you feel? You know what I mean?
Yes.
What did that win do for somebody else? No matter how small it is. So you can start to see what you are capable of. And that's it. Self-doubt is always there, lurking in the back, waiting to take over your mind. But you can train it to stay in the back where it needs to be and keep it healthy. Because some doubt is healthy. Too much doubt is crippling. And zero doubt is narcissistic. We don't want that either, right? So I wanted to share that story for you. First, to tell you that I sometimes still have self-doubt, especially when things are not going well. Then I start to question, like, oh my goodness, am I making the right decisions? And then I have to tell myself, you've been here before. Don't do that.
So as CEO, you
Of course.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. If as CEO you have no doubt, that means you'll be unmanageable, right? Because you're going to do whatever you think is right. You're not going to pause. You're not going to ask other people's opinions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So a little bit of self-doubt managed is good. No doubt at all, terrible. We don't want that. Okay? And doubt from others, we block.
Okay.
Constructive feedback is great.
Yes.
Doubt from others, from haters, we don't accept.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yes, we are good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Don't Let the Smile Fool You podcast. I hope today has been really interesting and that you're still smiling.